The mask is the facial shield held high in the war of the gazes. When the modern art still portrays faces, she writes, as it were, the protocol of a permanent interfacial catastrophe. Like the archaic art of sculptures of the mask, she displays faces that have no longer been shaped in intimate, spherical relationships. Faces without recognition, marked by the world powers devoid of content and disfigurement, to which not in the last place the deformation as a result of success belongs, the permanent grin of the victors. Faces that no longer stand eye to eye with human partners, but with monitors, cameras, markets, evaluation committees. For the early history of the human facialness applies that people do not have their face for their own sake, but for the sake of others. The Greek word for the human face, prosopon, exemplifies this course currently the best. It means that what man, through the gaze of the others, reveals. A face is initially available only to the gaze of the other, but as a human face it has at the same time the ability of to be seen, to reply with a own counter look back, and this to look back seems interim and naturally not itself, but only the face in opposite of itself. Sloterdijk, in his book Spheres. The permanent grin of the victors. Look around you. Walk through the city center. Notice the many billboards along the road, any path leading towards economic utility. Watch the commercials presented and forced upon us on the television, on YouTube. See the advertisements popping up out of nowhere all over your screen. See the adverts on any government-approved official website. They all present the ideal of happiness. Smiling faces of all kinds of people, young, old, male, female, Negro, white, Semite, mongrel, etc., etc. But what meaning has their happiness enforced upon us through the constant presence of commercials all around us? First of all, such empty smiles which you encounter also on the streets of actual quote-unquote people, eye machines, might be sincerely rooted in ignorance, like dogs not knowing any better and thus not able to long for any higher, self-existential purpose. To know a difference, or to feel it in your blood memory, that once you have encountered this contrast you can never return to what was, what is. These animal men belong to the consciousness of the animal world, only lower in value since the cowards with no other meaning in life than to have infertile quote-unquote pleasures, hedonism, are the most low-hearted beasts on the planet, no will to overcome, no will at all to become more than what was given to them through the nurturing stagnation of the media and the educational filtering system, and the abused and directed basic desires. What value have their everlasting smiles on their programmed faces? There's no excuse, do not doubt, the smile of a pretty woman, for it may be a habit well mimicked. Always distinct the honest from the dishonest, and its intentions, for the honest might well be honestly repulsive. To return to the subject of the commercialized smile. Commercials are used to direct the economic drive, often sexual, since the most base people buy through means of manipulated impulses of sexual desire. And of course, the colors exploding with symbolic meaning as to associate it with a particular branch of sweets, or hypermasculine representations, such as cars. The smile is sold and consumed. It is an economic smile to share their happiness through selling useless products, products not made but already bought and sold, a constant flux of money with no patience and value for its creation. The Japanese grin is a perfect example of the grin of the victor. There are many cases of people suffering from the smile mask syndrome, causing depression, physical injuries such as muscle aches, headaches, an unawareness of them even smiling, and an emotional suppression. Do not even be aware of your own smile. What is its value? What joy can one share? Since the Allied physical victory upon Japan and the whole of the world, they also won the faces of those conquered. through means of implanting their ideals in the minds, propagating democracy and the global economic system, and enforcing their media upon us all. The conquered peoples interact with each other by looking down on their mobile screens, broken necks, broken pride, broken inside, all sharing the same jokes and one-sided information through the same communicative tools as Facebook, Twitter, and any other platform, changing in name but not on purpose, though ironically, the puppet victors themselves have fallen victim to their own mechanical facial atmosphere. Smile to the security camera. No face can share a joyous moment of a rare experience, a shared memory interconnected with each other's eye-gazing. All have the same expression of ignorance, uncaringness, degeneration into uniformly increasing infantility on their faces. The grin of the victor is all around us, on each face, a smirk of ignorance as they want it, a produced smile for harsh consumption, a grin on the faces of the puppet victors, those followers of infertile ideals, by each seeming quote-unquote victory against their opposites on the same coin of dualism, owned by an absolutist force of greed. To end, I will end with Miguel Serrano, The Last Avatar. If Hitler had materially won the war, it would have been just another war. With time, what would have remained of the sublime ideals? What would we have done for the resurrection of the myth? In truth, by losing the war, Hitler won it, since with his sacrifice, with his example, the ideal has remained intact. If there's contempt in us, it cannot be for the Jew, but for the non-Jews, who betray their essence by their abysmal cowardice, by their materialism and pusillanimity. They are really animals, worse than any animals, animal men.